Hey, what's up, guys? This is a video that's just a compilation of all my short clips from my recent trip down the Rapidan and Rappahannock, so it's probably long and boring, but feel free to watch if you want to. Enjoy. Have a great day. Yo, what's up, guys? Out on the river a little bit, just enjoying some peace and quiet in my canoe. I just put in at Ely's Ford not too long ago. I was with my buddy Dave last weekend canoeing on the Potomac, and I said, "Oh man, this is so much fun! I can't wait to get out on the river myself soon." So here I am. Let's see. So I tried a little bit of a different setup in my boat this time. I've got just a couple of barrels rather than leaving everything loose. So the barrels hopefully will help keep things watertight in case I spill, and also it makes the canoe look a little neater. I really have way too much stuff, and a lot of these barrels aren't filled all the way, but I've got this front one, you know, some of my clothes and tents and stuff like that for at camp, so I don't really need access to that. I've got my food in the cooler. This one, I've got some kind of camping gear and tools like axes, you know, stoves, that kind of stuff. Behind me, this one's basically empty, just for fun and decoration. Maybe I'll try something cool with it. So it's making the canoe look a little bit nicer. So a couple years back, I actually accidentally got my phone ruined by jumping in the water with it in my pocket. So this time I've invested in a waterproof case. So let me go ahead and put that on now before it's too late. Perfect. I pull up to this little island in the middle of the river. Here's half of the Rapidan, the other half is over here. And I tie up my boat, and look at what is right here. It freaked me out when I saw it because I wasn't expecting it. What is it? It's kind of big jawbone. That's a big tooth. I don't know anything about animals. Is it a bear? Looks like a pretty wide head. It even still has some of its neck attached, its vertebrae. And what is that? Is that a rib? That looks like a rib as well. Maybe I'll try to collect it and bring it with me. I would say, you know, the bones washed up from somewhere else, but the fact that they're all here well, not intact, but that they're all here in one place makes me think that maybe it, you know, died over here, or maybe the carcass was washed up when the water was higher and since has receded. I don't know, but pretty cool. I'm gonna take it with me, I think. I found a couple more pieces of that skeleton. I'm sure if I was to rake all this sand and silt, I'd find some more buried under it, but there's a lot of it there. This is actually kind of a nice little area. There's nobody else here. I'm surprised it's Memorial Day weekend, but I might consider camping at a place like this, except that it's only like noon. I want to do a little bit more driving. Looks like we got some blackberries here, but I'm a little early. Maybe next time. I don't know, maybe it's a deer. Do deer have teeth like that? I really don't know anything. Somebody help me. Skull Island over there, I guess that's what we'll call it, right around there. And then I was paddling down to where I am now, and I saw this cool piece of bamboo that I just pulled up to right here. Seems pretty sturdy and pretty long, so I might be able to do something cool with it or just take it as a souvenir. I'm just gonna cut it up here where it's all bendy and bring it on down. I just passed that one spot with some bamboo, and then I came across this one right here. We've got a bunch of long poles. These are all bent in half, but they're still super crazy long. Might use them for something. Another one right there. So yeah, jackpot. Well, you wouldn't think you'd find a bunch of bamboo on the Rappahannock River, the Rapidan River, but there it is. I think I'm gonna cut them all down to size where they're not so unwieldy. Maybe I'll build something cool out of them. What's up, guys? Well, I've been paddling for a while. It's still early afternoon, but I was getting pretty tired and the sun is just beating down on me. So I pulled over on the side of the river. Look at all that bamboo I found. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I've got a couple ideas. But I was thinking about just stopping, you know, making some lunch, putting a hot dog on. But this actually looks like kind of a decent little spot. It's on the small side of the river. This is an island right here, so the main part is there, and this is just a little side, so it'll be kind of secluded. This spot right here could actually be pretty good. You know, there's not too much cover on the ground, and I've got a nice tree here and here that I could hang my hammock between. It's about perfect. But also coming inland, there's this little bit of a clearing. Maybe this is where some deer live or something. But this could be a pretty decent spot, a little bit away from the creek, although it's slightly more humid. But there's a lot of good firewood as well. Like this piece of whatever it is, I think it's from these trees. What are those, poplars, tulips, tulip poplar? I don't really know anything. But I like this piece because it's not laying on the ground. So you know it's gonna be fairly dry. And there's a lot of dead pieces of wood hanging on the trees, so this whole branch is going to be great. I can saw it into little pieces. I mean, honestly, that branch right there will probably get me through the entire night, but I can see some more through the woods there. So good spot, and I've got a lot of time. Maybe I'll just hang out, read a book. Maybe I'll build some kind of contraption for my boat with all that bamboo. Yeah, you know, the more I'm talking myself into it, I think I'm going to do that. I'll get a little fire going, make some lunch, and then hang out. Firewood right here. It took me about 10 minutes to get, and it was basically all from that one branch that I showed you guys. Now, as a general rule, I don't really mess with firewood if I can't break it with my hands or my foot or between a tree, because it's just, you know, a little bit too much work, and sometimes it burns funny when I'm trying to keep my fire small. But this stuff was just too good to pass up. It was very dry and lightweight, so it'll burn quickly. And I might continue to cut these down smaller and smaller, but I might also just lay it over the fire and let it burn in the middle and do it that way. We'll see. But now it's time to clean it up and gather a little bit more. It's what we call a widow maker, because it'll fall on you. But it will also be perfect wood because it is suspended off the ground. It's not wet and rotted. It'll be very dry and dead. So I'll pull that down so that way it doesn't hurt me or anybody else. Whew. All right, there's my pile now. It's kind of a lot of work, but well, it feels good. It's actually a little bit therapeutic. Just probably took about half an hour. So what I did is, you know, I just kind of organized them by size. So these little tiny twigs over here, they had to snap really nice and loudly. If they didn't, I didn't put them in the pile, because I need those to start the fire. And when they snap really well, it means that they're nice and dry. These pieces are a little longer. I might, yeah, we'll see. Sleeping arrangements tonight, I think, will be fairly minimal. I've got my hammock set up. I even brought a pillow because, you know what? I'm canoeing and not backpacking, so I can live in style. Let's see, what else do we have for sleeping? Oh, look, all my books that I still haven't finished reading. I've got my tarp, but I don't think I'm gonna need it or use it. But I have that, and it'll be easy to set up if I need to. I'm going to use my wool blanket, which I brought. I think wool is an okay thing for a canoe trip because it's a little bit heavier. I might not bring it backpacking, but if it gets wet, you know, it can still be a little bit useful, although it smells a little bit, but that's fine. So if it's cold, you know, maybe I'll wrap myself in it, use those covers. Otherwise, maybe I'll just lay it down on the bottom of the hammock to keep the bugs off if they're biting through it. We'll see how that goes. And then I actually have this this blanket here, which is really not a blanket at all. It's a shower curtain, and I actually like this one very much because it feels nice. It's nice and soft. It's kind of like semi-water resistant, you know, and I put some grommets in it so I can actually use it as a tarp or something. Anyway, it's just a shower curtain, but it's lightweight and feels nice, and so I think it could be multi-use. And then other than that, just some other odds and ends, but that's basically my system for tonight, and I've got a tarp if I need it. For instance, I could use this shower curtain to be a little makeshift tarp over the top of my hammock, and I'm not exactly sure how much rain it'll keep off. It is a shower curtain, you know, but it's kind of cloth-like, so it's, you know, a little bit water resistant. I think if it was a sharp enough angle, it could work. Right now I don't have it staked out at the corners, but conveniently it happens to be just about perfect to go straight across here. I don't have a ridge line or anything on this, so I'm not sure how long the stitching will last until it rips out, but that's not bad. I'd love some rain to see how it works. From the inside, without any you know, staked out sides, it actually feels very warm in here right now. It provides a good amount of insulation. You know, it would feel cozy, and it would also help keep the bugs off. Oh yeah, we'll see. And you can definitely feel as soon as you take it off the difference in airflow. Or with a bamboo pole that you found on the side of the river. Yes, I am aware that this design will probably not keep a tornado off of me, but with a cheap little shower curtain that has a few cheap rivets in it from the hardware store, I think it'll get the job done. Yeah, so the campsite's looking pretty good. It probably took me like I don't know, an hour after I got all the firewood collected, or less than an hour, to get everything set up and moved around. I moved all the firewood from here to over there because, well, because this was the best spot for the hammock, and I didn't want to have to keep running under it and also falling and breaking something on the sharp wood. So I'll probably just kind of have the fire over here where it's a little bit flat and dirty, and then have a little kind of bench I made. I guess I could have used my canoe for a bench or a table or something, but oh well. Yeah, let's get started making some food. I really like this little twig stove I've got. It's called the, I don't know if you can read that, the Nomadic Stove Company, Nomadic Stove Company. So what I'm gonna do is just make a little bit of a floor in there because there's a screen under it. And then I'm going to, somewhere, oh yeah, I'm gonna use my little bit of cotton, you know, and just strike it, but I can't show you guys because I need two hands. But I like this a lot. It's a lot of fun to use, and you know, I'll probably build a fire in a second, but just to get, you know, a nice hot thing ready to go right away, this is great. It's a lot easier to manage than, you know, coals, and it will heat up your water or whatever, cook faster. I could cook my hot dog over this if I wanted to. You know, you wouldn't want to use it if you're not willing to sit around your fire and micromanage, because you kind of have to keep feeding in twigs because it burns pretty quickly. But you know, for me, what I'm doing is perfect. Right, so I just flicked that cotton ball and it immediately caught, as it always does. And so now I'm gonna just keep feeding in some twigs. And once it starts going, you know, it looks pretty cool because it does the thingy where these little holes on the side in there, they will kind of, I mean, I guess it's like the chimney effect. It causes a draft because there's a double wall in here, and so it pushes the flame to the middle, and it has this a really beautiful look to it. So in just a second, it should start going in effect once it's kind of caught up. All right, so that's what it looks like when it's working the way it's supposed to. It took me a minute or two longer than it should have because I accidentally put too many sticks in it, and so it kind of didn't do it right. But all these little holes on the side blow the air or the fire into the middle, and so when you've got it at peak efficiency, you know, and I might have some little things blocking some of those holes right now, which is why they're not going all the way around. You know, it looks pretty cool, and it also it just cooks pretty fast. No, it's not going to be as fast as a jet boil or something, but I mean, come on, it's fine. So I got a little bit of water in there right now to boil, and once I'm done with that, I'll probably just dump the coals out directly on the ground and use that to start building my fire. So yeah, I just need to sit here and babysit it because it will die down pretty quickly. I mean, obviously the coals will still be in there, but it will, you know, not be at its peak efficiency if I'm not feeding it little twigs every, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. So if you had a kid, this would be a great opportunity for them to practice fire maintenance. Awesome. Boiled my water for my coffee. Now I'll just turn this bad boy over and build a little fire. See, look at all those beautiful coals in there. Oh yeah, this would be easy. Timber. I'm not particularly concerned about, you know, fire because, well, I'm going to be sitting here the whole time, first of all. And second of all, everything is quite damp from earlier. So I'll just restart a fire here. Get some of my little stuff on top of it. And then all you gotta do is just give it a little bit of a breath of life. Here we go. Well, after I ate my meal, I actually kind of just fell asleep. I was so tired. My neighbor Brian made me get up early this morning. So, oh, it's like 6 o'clock now. It'll get dark in a couple hours. I don't really have anything to do. So yeah, I might just do nothing. So while I got nothing better to do, I'm practicing my tarp designs. So this is with my big tarp. It's a 10 by 10 tarp. And by the way, some people think that's way too big, and they might be right. They prefer like a 9 by 9 or 8 by 8. And you might say, like, what's the difference between 10 by 10 and 9 by 9? Well, if 10 by 10 is 100 square foot and a 9 by 9 is 81 square foot, that's like almost 20% more tarp, or 25% more tarp. So that's quite a bit. That's, you know, 19 square foot. And of course, an 8 by 8 would be, you know, 64. So that's like a 50% bigger than an 8 by 8. So, you know, it's pretty big, but, you know, it's nice to have in case you need it. But so this is a plow point style. It's basically just a diamond, and I'm looking at it from the back. If you wanted to make it even more, you know, protected, you could bury, you know, pile on dirt or something along the edges. The opening is nice and wide, which, you know, maybe you don't like that as much. You know, you can see there's a lot of room over here that isn't protected. But if there was a big rainstorm or something, you know, it would keep you out. I mean, it would keep you in pretty good. So there's a lot of room on the inside because you're using the tarp in its diagonal orientation. So, you know, that's not 10 foot of width. That's even more than what 10 foot is. And you can totally, that's the nice thing about a tarp besides a tent. You can modify it quite a bit. Like, you know, let me try to make it up higher. And so we'll see it has a bigger angle, not quite so shallow, and steeper sides. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so there you go. It's a little bit higher now. You can see the angle's a little steeper, which basically just means there's slightly less room in the middle. But it's definitely very roomy in here. I mean, I can sit up pretty good. And then there's a nice wide opening. You know, you could even put a fire kind of right here at the very entrance, and I wouldn't be, you know, too worried about the flames licking the top as long as you keep it small enough. So that could be nice. And by the way, I'm not pulling the tarp directly. I have this rope here we call the ridge line that's just running the whole way. So I've got the rope, or the string, whatever, the paracord to the top, and I've just got 3 pieces of wood and all the corners for a stake. If I was trying to be more secure, I'd put more in the other loops, or like I was saying, you know, bury the corners or put some heavy logs on it. But you know, just to kind of demonstrate how it works. Tarp was an AquaQuest tarp, in case anybody's wondering. This is not a sponsored video. It was a 10 by 10, which is a little bit big, but I think it gives you a little bit of freedom to do some of the things that we did with it just now. You know, if you had a smaller tarp, it would be more difficult. Obviously, it's going to be heavier than, you know, an 8 by 8, for instance. Hey, look at that. It's like a little village. I wonder if this is where Ferngully lives. Cute. Okay. All right, so it doesn't look like much, but what I've done is make a little bit of a cocoon. So I've just taken the grommets on only half of it, and I've tied them together here, and then here, and then here, and then at the bottom. And just by doing that, I've made kind of a pocket, you know, half of it sealed off, so when you're in there, it feels very cozy, and it's kind of nice. So it definitely keeps it warm. So the cocoon is very secure. You know, there's like, my tarp here is quite well held in place with the grommets, you know, underneath. You can't even see them. And there's really no gap over here. The nice thing about this white shower curtain is that it's, you know, not too dark, so I can still see when it's daylight. It's no big deal. And even though I only did half of it sewn, quote unquote, it's still pretty close over here on the top. Now, if I was to switch, oh boy, switch sides, and I am distributing my weight differently. Now all of a sudden this side closes off pretty good, even though I didn't even sew the edges. So this is very warm, in fact. You know, this material is kind of breathable a little bit, so it's probably not going to suffocate me, but maybe it does need some more ventilation. I'm not sure how it would do in the rain. I'd be very curious to try it out. I feel like it's a steep enough angle that I won't get that wet, but you will start having some condensation, you know, run down, and the fact that I'm touching up against it, it probably would not do in the rain. I'd want another tarp if that was what this was for. But it is helping me stay warm already. All right, dinner time. We've got, this is basically a pot full of vegetables and a pork chop with, sorry, I'm having trouble getting the lighting. Some barbecue sauce and spicy mustard. It's turning out to be a beautiful evening. It's cooling down, bugs are going away. Yeah, that's about it. I'm tired. Can't wait to eat and go to bed. Everybody. It was a little chilly last night, but not too bad. I slept okay. Heard a couple of funny noises, but didn't get visited by any animals. I went ahead and broke down my camp. Actually, this is the remainder of my firewood, so I've been kind of up and about for an hour and a half, and well, I figured out what to do with some of that bamboo. So here's what I got going on here. I have my canoe with this bamboo frame for some outriggers. So I brought a bunch of these dry barrels. I didn't actually need them all. Basically, all my stuff fits in this one. I wanted to experiment with them a little bit. I thought about making a wide one on one side with both barrels, but I decided to go with the symmetrical one. So what I've got right now is I'm lashed at each individual point, a little bit of bank line. It's actually pretty sturdy, this whole thing. I can definitely lift it up, so it feels very good. These dry barrels are empty. Well, this one's empty. That one has a bunch of bones of a random animal in it. I don't know. And the way I attach it to the canoe is I didn't want to do anything permanent. So I have 4 points of contact here, there, there on all the seats. And all that this is here, here's a good one I can show to you guys. Ugh. These are a little unbalanced ground. So all it is a toggle here, and this is just held in place by tension. and there's a loop of bank line. So you just unwind it, and it's totally free. That's the only thing holding it on there. There's just this loop going around. So I wanted to do something so I could get rid of this frame in case it became a nuisance in an emergency or something like that. I'm not actually sure how it's going to do on the rapids. It seems sturdy enough that it won't break apart. It might just toss and turn me or get me stuck. You know, we'll see how it does. I actually don't know if these dry barrels even are waterproof and float. Yeah, we'll figure that out too. Anyway, see you later. Slight modification. Added this little platform here with my extra bamboo just to get it out of the way, and I don't know if it's useful for anything. But how are you going to paddle on that side? That's a good question. I guess maybe I'll have to either come back to the rear of the boat, or I'll just have to spin the whole boat around and use the other side as that side. Yeah, so I'm going to launch it in just a second, and hopefully it'll work okay. My battery's not doing so well, so you might not get to see it in action, which is probably for the best. It's finally time to go. I've got everything packed up. I'll put out the fire in a second, but I want to see if I can get this thing to go into the water. So let me see if I can do this with one hand. Okay, push. Oh boy, when that thing goes, it's gonna go fast. Okay, everything's basically strapped down, all the important stuff at least. Okay, here we go. The nose is in. All right, going. Okay, a little bit more. And almost there. I'm gonna have to let go and hold the rope. Okay, so a little bit more here. All right, and we're caught up on the bamboo on the side. Oh, my outriggers aren't even in the water. Oh wait, let me get this down a little bit more. Okay, come on you. All right, so it's floating, but the outriggers are literally not doing anything right now. Well, I guess maybe that'll be good for the shallow rapids, or if I'm tilting a lot. It's pretty funny with them. Maybe for next time, I could get them each about 2 inches down lower if I lashed their brace bamboo on the underside rather than on top. But, well, I got it all, so let me tie this thing up and then finish cleaning up camp. Okay, I'm running a little bit low on battery, but oh well. So I did okay. The raft, it held in place. I could definitely feel that there were times when, you know, I was leaning to one side and it was pushing back. I hit a couple of rocks and things, so that was, you know, and it held up. But I just came to this big dam where all these branches have been totally blocked the river. And that's where I'm trying to get. So that's some water right there, all right. I guess I'm gonna have to drag my canoe over. You know, what a drag, hot, get it? I just gotta find the best place to do that. I don't know, maybe I'll have to take the frame off to do that. We'll see, but yeah. Okay. So here's what happened. This is after that dam I was showing you guys. I tried to take my boat over the dam, like I dragged it through, I portaged it, or I don't know how you say that word. And then I took my kind of raft set up separately. Well, I broke it, and I lost one of my barrels, the one with the skeleton in it. But thankfully, I found it later downstream. But that was very scary. It was pretty intense. And now I'm going to attempt to rebuild it differently. I'll do it with the big outrigger on just one side, and we'll see how that works. So here it is, the outrigger. It's very long, so it should give it quite a bit of stability. It floats pretty well too. And even the bamboo is buoyant, so if you didn't have those blue barrels, it would still provide a lot of stability, just by the bamboo hanging out so far off into the water. So I'll have to try and see if I can add anything to it later. Once I go down a couple rapids, I don't want to spend too much time if this whole thing's gonna break. I've been riding like this for a couple hours now, and hasn't fallen apart on me. Feels pretty sturdy. I haven't actually tried to climb out on that yet. I think it can probably hold me, but it's a little chilly and I don't want to fall in the water right now. I'm having trouble keeping track of the time. I feel like it could be 7 in the morning or like 7 in the evening. I just have no idea. I've lost track. So yeah, we'll see. Well, when I thought that it could be 7 a.m. or p.m. and had no idea, I was closer to 7 p.m. so I didn't quite make it back home yet. So I think these guys are to blame. It was a fun experiment, but they sure do slow you down. They're not very water dynamic. So I just parked over here next to this big tree. I'll just go throw my hammock up there somewhere. I might be able to make it a little farther, but I don't want to go over rapids in the dark. So I think I'll take down this. It was a fun experiment, but now I need to be a canoe again.